That's a little better. This is what happens when you don't practice. Anyhow, we're going to go ahead and get started with an episode of Tricky Questions, which is where I go over things that I have heard you guys tell me about things that were challenging on the PSI real estate licensing exam. But before we get into that, I think in the previous episodes, which you have missed, if you have missed, then there is some learning curve to this thing that we're using called Slido. But I made it very simple. And I made a quick little tutorial instead of me running my mouth. So check it out and learn.
You too can join in the quizzes and have your answers come up in real time during the live feed by grabbing your smartphone and going to Slido.com. Simply type in SLIDO.com and enter the code Billy gives you to play along.
There you go. So what is the code that Billy is going to give you? Well, let's check it out. Over on Slido.com, do you see right this way? You see join Slido.com at W693. It's that simple. W693. So you go to Slido.com and you type in W693, and then you're going to be able to, well, wait, let's slow things down a minute. Let's have some fun. Let's not jump immediately into the real estate. It's Christmas time. So, this poll will be up until Christmas Day. If there's a movie that I've missed on this list that you would like to vote for, feel free. Just go to Slido.com, enter W693. And then, what is your favorite Christmas film? Elf? Everybody loves Will Ferrell. The Christmas Chronicles, one of my new favorites, due to the fact that Kurt Russell makes a very excellent Santa Claus, and he does sing the blues from a jail cell. Then you've got The Princess Switch, for all you new folks to the Netflix arena. And let's see, I got so many things going on this. The Santa Claus movie, and that's the one with oh man, who's the guy from? It's a great one. Home Alone, classic, but I think I've got to always go with National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. But we're not going to dwell on this too long, because we are going to get into the meat and potatoes of this evening, and we are going to see the snow that I've worked on today. And we're also going to start pulling these text messages up with questions. So let's get into the business right now. And we will start Tricky Questions. All right, so my very first text message that comes in. This may be a little bit hard to read, and if it sounds a little racy, I didn't write this text. These come from, if you text me one of these questions, you might see it featured on this show. But let's jump into it. Basically, they say, was asking, meaning the PSI testing was asking, if you have an Asian client in a primary Asian community, would it be a violation if it advertised in an Asian magazine? All right, let's check out what Slido has to say. Let's get off this Santa Claus scene. You can do it. So again, join the quiz at W693 at Slido.com, and you can play along here. And the options there are you can do that only if you advertise restrictively in the Asian magazine. I'm sorry, I didn't really type that too well there. But the reality is it's saying that you can advertise if all you do is put it in the Asian magazine. Now, the second option is you can, as long as you advertise in the local newspaper as well. And the third option we have is there's no violation because you would be catering to your client's wishes. And the fourth option, let's get my head out of the way so you can see the full thing. You should profile Asians on Facebook and message the ad so it's not public. All right, that sounds a little racy there. But in all honesty, I can see why this would be slightly confusing because you do want to honor your client, but we did go over a lot of violations that could happen in these scenarios. And it takes some thought to think what you're going to do. So what I've done here, let's see. I've got this, I'm not sure if I actually, let me trigger it from over here so that you can see where this URL is. All right, so that's kind of hard for you to see, but if you go to bit.ly/3R03 capital PHG. I know that's highly not memorable, but if I showed you the actual which I am actually going to show that. But if you would look, let's see. I'm juggling 500 things here, folks. So here is the URL to where we are, where that short one went. And by the way, if you would go to, or just Google search, do your ad, Facebook ads discriminate? You will find an article very much like this, lengthy. I'm not going to make you read it. I'm not going to read it to you. But the reason that this is under a lot of scrutiny now is because Facebook, as you know, targets us. They know a lot about us based on our searching habits, and they target ads at you. But what this question is showing you on Slido, this is kind of where Facebook gets into a lot of trouble. Because according to the law that we go by, you're not supposed to target only Asians when you are showing properties. Even if it's in an Asian neighborhood and you have an Asian client and they want you to do that, it is a violation. So let's see the answer here, which is you can, as long as you advertise in the local newspaper as well. Now, why is that a big deal? Why did I show you the Facebook stuff? Well, let's take a look at it again. I mean, you're supposed to show it to a wide variety of everyone. There is many articles, even in the realtor websites, where they specify when you take a picture, you're supposed to make it look like you've got a Asian friend, a Russian friend, a black friend, I mean, I have all these friends, but you see my point. It needs to be spread very wide, very wide. And so that's the concept that they are trying to quiz you on right there on that question. Now, let's jump into the second text that I got. And they state something else that was little. This one's actually very difficult. And why is it difficult? Well, first it says, I reviewed the state. I think the wording is bull. You know, meets and bounds, old oak tree to the old oak tree. I know that concept inside and out. And the question asks, does it start north, south, east, or west? Now, if you guys have sat through my class, you very well know the meets and bounds system. But let's see what they were gunning for there, because honestly, this was not in any of the Dearborn textbook. Why are they going this in depth? I don't know. But let's look at the URL that I've got something for you to download. If you want to be above and beyond, you go to spruceschool.com. I'm trying to move out of the way here. /meetsandbounds.pdf. And when you go to that, you are going to bring up this, let's see, mapping descriptions and drafting parcel boundaries for, but I'm going to spare you. Whoops. And I'm just going to show you what they're talking about here. Now, we learned about the old oak tree to the old oak tree. We never mentioned, because the Dearborn book never mentioned, which way does it start out. So let's look at this map very quickly, and I will illustrate what they are going for there. Unfortunately, it is very tricky, and I wouldn't see how anyone would ever get it right unless I got word of it and then did some heavy Google searching. But this is what's going on here. Let me try to pretend that this is one of those systems, where this is a block. And what they're doing within it, pretend this is the old oak tree, and it's going to go around back to that oak tree. Now, what's happening here? Often in these questions, if you read that top part, it says beginning at the north point I'm losing my spot. Oh, there we go. Part of the, well, I'm not even going to read the beginning to you. This is the northwest corner of the box. Okay, again, pretend I drew the box there. They are describing where to start that first point. They go down with the description. They go over with the description. But you don't start drawing it until that point. And what's the first direction you go once you start drawing it? You're going east. We're going to go clockwise around this. And that's really what they're looking for there. It's a horrible, horrible question. But I have no control over this. All I can do is help you and show you that it starts out east. Now, I think that was all of that one. So let's check out the third text that I've got, which says, well, they had a few more questions. The first one I think's easy. This one's not too tricky. I mean, we went over it in class. A new couple could get tax levied up to how much money? Now, I know that I went over this because I love this concept. You can be taxed on the first or on your sale of your private residence or where you live. If you're married, $500,000. If you're unmarried, $250,000. It's a huge amount of money. I've always said how wonderful this is because can you imagine making $250,000 at work? Can you imagine the taxes you incur? But what they're saying here is if you're a married couple, in a married couple you're making $500,000. I just got to throw some snow in there. I worked too hard on it. And I'm going to throw the music on real lightly. I'll turn it down. It makes me feel at peace. Break out your sleepy time tea. Get some snow. I hear the snow's coming. And let's move right along. That's the easy one, the $500,000. The second part of that one said, if someone breaks HUD violations, how long do you have to report it? Well, I've made another downloadable thing. You go to spruceschool.com/HUD-complaint.pdf. You got that? spruceschool.com/HUD-complaint.pdf. You will find above and beyond what you need to know, but you actually do need to know it because this is on PSI, or this is SEAM. And you can download this thing that I've posted there, and it goes into all of the above and beyond concepts of filing a complaint with HUD. So the answer to that question is is 2 years. If someone breaks the HUD violation, they have up to 2 years to report it. Again, that's something that's not in the Dearborn textbook. It takes some serious Google searching. Why are they trying to trick you? It sucks. I can't control it, but I can help. 2 years. Okay, and that covers that HUD slide, and it brings up, let's see what I gotta do next. We bring up the lovely lady's question again, which finishes it at if your license is revoked, how long do you have to wait before getting a new one? Now, this is featured in the Red Book and easy to memorize because it goes with the HUD violation. You have 2 years to file it. You also have 2 years to wait if your license does get revoked. And that's it, folks. That is what I have heard this week about the craziness that has been seen. I have researched and found the answers, and we've just gone over them. So those are, 5-6 questions that now you can get right. If you subscribe to us, you will get notified when I go on live here. Go to facebook.com/Spruce School of Real Estate. We are also publishing this on YouTube, I think, as so long as this stream is actually working. I'm actually broadcasting on YouTube and Facebook, so if you want to subscribe on Facebook or YouTube, that's great too. I will republish these on examcram.tv. And I think that does it. So everyone stay safe in the upcoming snow. And thus ends this evening's episode of Tricky Questions.